Production funding for Making It Up North is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and by the Lloyd K. Johnson Foundation.
I've always been a creative person. There's always been that craftiness about me and wanting to make things.
As long as your successes outweigh your failures, right, then you can keep going. We're modern lollygaggers, so we actually play hard and then we relax hard.
Like it didn't exist before, but now it does. It's a good way to do some introspective thinking and planning.
And Taylor Loft brand. Could you imagine wearing the bright orange? Not really me, but it might have been somebody. So some of the stuff I wash probably 3 times. You know, it's just you kind of hold it up and you could just tell by feel that it's shrunk enough. Somebody asked me once if I lost weight and was only shrinking. Yeah, and only wore sweaters. Somebody asked if I had a hotel, you know, and maybe only provided sweaters, or most people are like think I'm doing laundry for the whole neighborhood or haven't, you know, done laundry in ages. My name is Melissa Boyle and I am the owner and chief operator of the Wooly Wearables slipper factory. Red, black, red and black. What color? My favorite is matching all the colors up. And just seeing what the, you know, the ugliest, you know, sweater or most out of date or whatever, you know, shrunk and turned into something wearable again in a smaller scale. You know, the hideous like neon green sweater, like who would ever wear that as a sweater, but you know, shrunk, it makes, you know, makes some really fun, cute, bright slippers for a little kid. This will be the cuff, and my number 3, I know by numbers, is the toddler medium size. I probably sell the most of the infant. You know, they make a great baby gift year-round. Little people wear slippers year-round to stay warm, so I probably sell the most of those, and they're so irresistibly cute. But then I do sell a lot of the bigger pairs for holiday gifts. You know, Christmas people, like, it's a good, everybody needs slippers. So this is only some of the storage, but like these, the little slippers, I make so many of them that I could only use the small pieces for only one thing really, so I pre-cut a bunch of the bottoms for the little slippers. You know, with such a small space and just as much as I'm trying to do, you know, I'd have to be organized. This is the cuffs for the adult size slippers, so they're bigger. Oh, and these are more. And these I haven't made a lot in a while. They're thinner but smaller, but these will be cuffs for newborn slippers. And that's what I really want to have a die made for, because they're a pain to cut out. I now know why my mom would never sew us Barbie clothes, because they're so small. The bigger scraps over there will end up either as cat toys or stuffing for cat beds. Just before I was the slipper lady and the mitten lady, I was the cat toy lady. So. The mice population has dwindled, yeah, so these are all the sweater mice, and then even the little scraps end up as ears for the bigger mice. So not a lot gets thrown away. Try to use everything. So I can't quite give up the cat toys yet. I think there'd be a lot of sad cats. And it's just kind of the other kind of using up all the scraps from the slipper portion, but it's kind of like these maybe fraternal twin businesses that some people know me as the cat toy lady, but I think more people are knowing me now as the one that makes the slippers, so. Just because they definitely take up the majority of my time. It's like 13 sizes of slippers, so keeps me busy. I'm making more money selling, slippers. Like there's not, you can't charge a ton for a cat toy, where, the slippers are just, it does make more sense to be doing the slippers. So here's the finished with grippy bottom, yeah. I think I'm doing, not just sustainability to sell it, not just calling it sustainable just because that's what people will buy, or, I've chose to really not just, make a sustainable product, but choose what the packaging, like I'm purposely looking for recycled plastic packaging, not just buying new stuff, but trying to source sustainably too. It's kind of crazy, like I don't know if I would have thought that I would be making a bazillion pairs of slippers every year, and even you say like come December and like, oh my gosh, how can I keep doing this, and then it slows down a little, and then I'm all excited again to start fresh and take a road trip to Michigan to look for more sweaters. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of busyness, but it fits my personality.
So here's how we do this. So these are 4x8 sheets, and you can see all the different parts that are nested in there. And that's kind of the first part of the process. We'll head in here. So we have 25 different cutting tools. So we really try to design our products to use those 25 tools, which is good to have some limitations. It helps your production. We buy these from a company in Pennsylvania. They're a small manufacturer like us. We start sourcing in Duluth, and then we go out from there. So the plastic we use now is 100% recycled. It's post-consumer. It's primarily from milk jugs. That's exciting too, to be part of that. Hopefully a solution to plastic pollution. Our company started in 1997. And it was my brother, Dave Benson, and a friend, Tony Chardelli. I think we were all entrepreneurial, and we had an idea to start making skate parks. We've had a lot of time to perfect the art of ramp fabrication. We know what skaters want. We were working for Rollerblade Inc. and doing events all over the country, marketing events. And it wasn't that difficult to say, well, all these, everyone needs a skate park. And they're all asking for it everywhere we'd go, all around the country. The skating surface was a material called Richlite that we found. It just was really durable, held up outside. Then the other material we found was this plastic, high-density polyethylene plastic sheet. That's the material we're sitting on right now.
All riding surfaces are covered with Skatelite Pro.
And we knew that Skatelite was used in the restaurant business as cutting boards in restaurants. And we did a little bit of research and found that the material wasn't available in a retail. So consumers couldn't buy it. So we, using our marketing and sales experience, we created a brand called Epicurean, and we put together a line of products, and we went out and started selling it. And at about the same time, we started messing around making Adirondack chairs with the plastic, with the sides of the ramps. We originally were making it kind of for fun, And then we decided, all right, let's go Loll full on. So we sold True Ride. We were doing Loll, and originally we were selling direct. We had a couple little small boutique retailers that weren't doing a whole lot. Going to room and board was the breakthrough, because they were buying inventory. So now we could employ more people and kind of have a more steady work than what we were doing. Most people we meet out in the world haven't been to Duluth, but everybody thinks it's snow here 12 months of the year, and they find it really interesting that we're making outdoor furniture in Duluth. We just all appreciate being outside so much. We have a bike to work program, that kind of puts our money where our mouth is, and a little happier if you're outside enjoying it, and if you're doing something active. And most people feel good. They don't say, "Oh, I shouldn't have got on that bike ride." They're usually glad they did. I think it's just enjoying the outdoors and being outside. Hi, Mike. That's Chance. There's definitely an art to cutting 9 different colors and 3 thicknesses and meeting ship dates. We can build up some inventory, but with 220 products in 9 colors, you never know exactly what people are going to buy. So there's a challenge. This is the Samala chair. We try to look, more towards a modern, clean look, and just sort of the parts that are there should have a purpose and a reason for being there. This is our system. So this is called, we call it a lock block or a puck, which is probably regionally that we call it a puck. When all these parts are nested together in a sheet, we try to get the parts as close to each other as we can so we have less void, because void is just waste. We had this certification done, this cradle-to-cradle certification, which is a third party. They look at your entire company, from the material you use to how you engage with your community, employee benefits, just this real, kind of sustainability, and how sustainable are you in all those areas. And we got a silver certification, so we're happy. But we had to change some things. So the insert was brass, and now it's aluminum. When we started cutting skate ramps on our knees, this isn't what I thought we'd be doing at all. And fortunately, we've been able to grow. And I think our timing on this, we're, made in USA, sustainable, leaning product that has good design at a time when people are putting more into their outdoor spaces. Our timing was good. Maybe just sitting outside shouldn't be really serious. So we try to make furniture that sort of helps do that, just enjoy being outdoors. So. We say we work hard and we play hard and we relax hard. I stumbled upon something that was really interesting, and we wanted to do our own thing, so. It's really fun.
Once you got your design onto the bark, and it's fairly easy to start etching your design. Yeah, I was just kind of messing with some little strips of bark, and I had some, I drew some little animal designs into it, and then I etched it out, and came back and looked at it, and looked really nice. And so I just kept going from there. So I'm going to do like a leaf pattern on this border here for this next project I'm working on. Yeah, when you harvest your bark in the spring or the winter, it leaves this brown layer on that you're able to etch into. Once you get into it, kind of just forget about everything you've done today, all your problems. And then if you kind of do mess up, you know, you can just always add a little more and incorporate your mistakes into your work. And so this little piece here is going to be a border on a larger wall piece. Even like this little bird would be up in here if this was a tree or something, you know. So I'll just add I'll keep adding pieces as I go to the scene. Like I was showing you there, I just lay the birch bark down on the pad on the back there, and then I put different little pieces of spring bark over it. And I have the grandfathers down in the bottom with the 7 fires, and we got our ancestors who have made their journey to the Great Spirit up here in the sky. And it's got a nice floral border. This art form isn't anything new in our culture. You know, hundreds of years our people have been, you know, utilizing, you know, spring bark, and, you know, even thousands for utilizing birch bark. It's such a versatile medium. You can use it from, you know, as artwork. They use it as for housing. After you would pass on and go on to your journey, they would wrap you in birch bark. And so it's kind of like a, you know, from conception to death, birch bark is part of the Anishinaabe culture and way of life. Anishinaabe people like to say, you know, when you go out into the woods, that's the Anishinaabe Walmart. You can get all your resources and everything you need out there. I started making baskets and winnowing baskets for wild rice, and then, like, you know, berry picking baskets. And then one day I had a basket that wasn't finished, and I think might have been my daughter or my nephew, were running around with the basket on their head. And I thought to myself, you know, if I put a brim on that, that'd look like a top hat. This is kind of more of a fancy one here. It's got the spring bark brim on it. It's got a nice big braid of sweetgrass. It has some silver work on the sides. It has the bear, the mukwa on this side here. And we got the maing and the wolf on that side there. This is the hat my daughter wears. She's the Red Cliff princess for their powwow they had last summer.
I really like it because, you know, when someone asks me, like, whose hat are you wearing, who made that, I get to say that my dad made it. And I get to answer all their questions, like, who is he, where is he from, all that. So, and it's like a personal thing. Like, you don't see many people with a birch bark hat on. You know, if you see someone with a birch bark hat, you know it's a Savage Girls dancing.
And I kind of moved into the ball cap style. Here on this one, I did a dragonfly by the flowers here. I got some arrows on the side. A lot of people like the feathers on the back of this one, the headdress style. I got a dream catcher on the side. I also like to do work on the bottoms of the brims. They're pieces of art, but they're also wearable. So it's kind of up to you what you want to If you want to stick it in the curio cabinet or wear it. I mean, they're functional, you know, and if you're out on the lake and drop your hat in the water, it'll float. You won't lose it canoeing. Absolutely, it's nice seeing people wearing your stuff around. Makes you feel proud. Makes you feel like you've contributed something.
I think just being able to do what I love and want to be doing, and you know, I work at home, and it's just I couldn't imagine having to work the same job every day.
You have to at least be, you know, fearless enough to just start and do it, and then be ready to take whatever problems are going to come your way, and then, you know, just keep going.
So, you know, kind of like all art, it, you know, kind of took on a life of its own. Just gotta listen to the bark, listen to your heart.